Great Train Robbery, one of the most infamous heists in history, occurred on the West Coast Main Line in the early hours of 8 August 1963. But what really happened on that fateful night? The robbery involved $2.61 million from a Royal Mail train travelling from Glasgow to London. The train was halted at Brydego Railway Bridge, Ledburn, near Mentmore, in Buckinghamshire, England. A gang of 15, led by Bruce Reynolds, attacked the train. The gang included notable members such as Gordon Goody, Buster Edwards, and Charlie Wilson. But how did they manage to orchestrate such a daring heist? The plan to intercept and rob the overnight Glasgow to London mail train was based on information from an unnamed senior security officer within the Royal Mail.
The gang did not use firearms during the robbery, but they did use violence to overpower the train staff. Jack Mills, the train driver, was beaten over the head with a metal bar and suffered serious head injuries. The robbers then moved the train to Brydego Bridge, where they transferred the stolen money to a waiting truck. The robbers escaped with over £2.61 million, but the bulk of the stolen money has never been recovered. The gang hid at Leatherslade, a farm located 27 miles from the crime scene, where they counted the proceeds and divided it into 16 full shares and several drinks. But how long would it take for the police to catch up with them? The police found the hideout and incriminating evidence, including a monopoly board with fingerprints, which led to the eventual arrest and conviction of most of the gang. But what role did the monopoly board play in the investigation? The police were able to match the fingerprints on the board to some of the gang members, providing a crucial lead in the case. The ringleaders were sentenced to 30 years in prison, a severe punishment for their crimes. But how did the gang's plan come together, and what were the key factors that led to their eventual downfall? The plan was devised over several months by a core team including Goody, Edwards, Reynolds, and Wilson. The gang enlisted the help of another London gang called the South Coast Raiders, which included Tommy Wisby, Bob Welch, and Jim Hussey. But what was the significance of this alliance, and how did it contribute to the success of the heist? The South Coast Raiders brought additional expertise and resources to the operation. Roger Corddry was a specialist in rigging the trackside signals to stop the train. But how did he manage to disable the signals without arousing suspicion? Corddry's expertise was crucial in allowing the gang to halt the train at the designated location. The final gang who took part in the raid was composed of 16 men, each with their own role to play in the heist. But what was the significance of the 16th man, an unnamed retired train driver? The retired train driver was hired to help the gang operate the train, but he was unable to operate the newer type of locomotive. The traveling post office train set off from Glasgow Central Station at 1850 on Wednesday, August 7, 1963, carrying a large shipment of money and mail. But what was the value of the shipment, and why was it so significant? The value of the shipment was usually around £300,000, but was between £2.5 and £3 million on the day of the robbery. The train was scheduled to arrive at Euston Station in London at 4 o'clock the following morning, but it never made it to its destination. The robbers had other plans, and the train was halted at Brydego Bridge, where the heist took place. But what happened to the train and its staff after the robbery? The police investigation was extensive, but the gang's plan had been carefully thought out, and they had taken steps to cover their tracks. However, the police were able to find the hideout and incriminating evidence, which led to the eventual arrest and conviction of most of the gang. But what about the ones who got away, and what happened to the stolen money?